it messes the meat up.
Yeah.
I tell you, people just don't realize now the, in one sense, the having to do without that you did have to do back then.
No, they don't. It's too plentiful. I mean, well,
They take
I
so
don't
much
say
for
it's too
granted now,
plentiful, but it's plentiful. They don't realize it just don't ain't conservative like it was back then.
I mean, you didn't have it, you realized you didn't have it,
That's right. And you couldn't get it.
and you couldn't get it.
You couldn't get it. You better not throw it away. You couldn't get it.
Well, do you remember up there on the brushes? Seemed like people started coming in from other sections and rich people and moving in on top of the brushes. Do you remember much about that time, or?
Yeah, I remember the first family that came to this country from it was run out in that Mexican War.
Uh-huh.
They settled down right up here on this ridge here, where Arthur Lowe lives, right up here.
Yeah.
And they settled down. And called Mr. Marl. I believe it was German.
Uh-huh.
And my daddy, he's raising chickens, and she asked him, said, Mr. Brock, what would you take for an old hen and some biddies? Oh, he said, I've got one sitting down there. I'll just give her to you. And he gave her that hen and eggs, and she set them up there and hatched them out.
Uh-huh.
And they was pretty biddies and healthy biddies, and they hatched out. And one day he passed up there and said, Mr. Brock, says, there's something wrong with my biddies. Said, they're dying. He went out there and looked at him and said, Miss Marl, what you feeding them biddies? Oh, not anything. I thought the old hen would nurse them.
Boy, she sure didn't know much about it, did she?
And then there come along Mr. Morehouse. I bet you heard of Mr.
Yeah,
Morehouse.
yeah, uh-huh.
And he come, I don't know where I believe he come the same place.
Yeah.
At the same time. Jingo.
Yeah.
Believe they both come in here together.
Yeah.
They lost a fortune there. And then after they stayed here several years, they run an orchard, bought an orchard up here several years. They went back and made another fortune, and the wind blowed it away.
Oh my goodness.
They're in Texas.
Yeah.
Or wherever that land is where the wind blows the farms away.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Oklahoma.
they lost another fortune.
Yeah.
They lost two fortunes in their lifetime that I know of.
Yeah.
Now they finally they died out there. Some of the children came in here after that.
Yeah.
Told about them losing everything you had.
Yeah.
Out there with a windstorm.
Anybody can lose it right quick, can't
They just had to go up and leave it out there.
Yeah.
And come here. They never did make a fortune here. They made pretty good, but they didn't make no fortune. It wasn't a fortune to be made right here. They went back to Texas, I believe it was, Oklahoma. I believe it might have been Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Is that a windstorm?
Yeah, that's where a lot of people lost farms from the wind. They plowed up those plains, and they didn't have any wind breaks.
Yeah.
And they took all the vegetation off, and then when the winds come, it just blew that silt soil away.
Yeah, it just wiped them out.
Yeah.
Come a terrible storm.
Yeah. That's back in the 30s, they called it.
Yeah, yeah.
Back in the 30s.
Mhm.
No, that brings into mind too that a lot of people, they don't use common sense in farming, and even in forestry, cutting trees, they're going to lose it, aren't they?
That's right. That's right.
We're cutting all of our trees down, and then when the rains come, it runs off real quick. And I bet you remember when the creeks run a lot clearer than they do now, don't you?
Yeah, and lots bigger. This Cub Creek over here below my grandpa's there, there's a parson here to the road over there. It's over your head all along down through there. Fish by the glory.
There's no fish anymore, and it's running shallow.
Pollution got rid of the fish, and it's running down. It's just hard, it's not big enough for fish now.
Yeah. Did you ever do much fishing?
Yeah, I've fished all my life. Yeah. I like to fish, especially bass fish and trout fish. That's two things I like to do: is bass fish and trout fish. That's all the kind of fish I like to catch.
Never did do much catfishing.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of catfishing.
years ago?
Yeah.
I guess there was a lot of catfish in the Yadkin, wasn't there, or was it? What
Yeah.
was back there when you was a boy? What was the kind of fish mainly was in the Yadkin?
Catfish about all you know how to catch when
Yeah.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
I know me and Raymond Lane and Edmund Edsel, we went up there, they called it the pea hole up on the edge of the river that shows up there.
Uh-huh.
And we was fishing on the bank and all about this time of the day and wasn't catching anything, wasn't getting a bite. Finally Raymond, he put on a bathing suit and he swum out in the middle of the river and got on a rock. Boy, he throwed in there a big cat. We went out there and got on the same rock, three of us, and we come out of there, we had 2 peck bucketfuls of fish.
You found their hole, didn't you?
Found their hole, we went back, I don't know at the times, every 4th of July, we'd go up there and fish all day.
Yeah.
Bring us back a sack full of fish.
What'd you use for bait back then?
Helgamites.
Heldermite.
Yeah.
I've heard the old people talk about them things.
Yeah, you get them out from under rocks. You go over in the river and take you a little minnow seine,
Yeah.
about that wide, and set it down. And somebody stir the rocks with a hole.
Yeah.
They come in there about that long.
Yeah.
And they're tough. You can't get them off. You can catch 2 or 3 catfish in one bait.
That's
And
usually
that's
sand.
our fish's natural food.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And then you toss that out there, you get it. If he's around there.
Yeah.
And it's got a scent, throws off. If he's way down yonder,
Yeah.
you just wait, he'll come up there and get it.
Yeah.
Come to it. Follow that scent in the water to your hook.
Did you ever ride much boats out on the river, or John boats, or did you ever have?
Never have rode boats on the river. Me and my sons fished a lot on with a boat in
Yeah,
Lake,
motorboat.
Lake Norman and
Yeah.
Lake Hickory and Kurt Scott over here when they first built it. We caught a lot of fish over there.
Yeah.
When they first built that thing, you just go anywhere and cast around them old stumps and things and catch you a big bass.
Yeah.
And we used to go over on the river where we had one hole where, boy, I kept counting about 200 bass I caught out of that hole one spray.
No wonder nobody can't catch them. You done caught them all.
Yeah.
You caught them all back in. I couldn't catch none there. Ain't none there.
Yeah.
No,
I went over there one evening and I chewed tobacco back in, and I went to fishing in there at 1 o'clock. And I didn't even take a chew tobacco till 5 o'clock. I had 50 pound of bass and I come out of there.
you didn't even have time to chew, did you?
No, I didn't have time to take the chew tobacco.
Sound like maybe you needed somebody to off-bear for you that day.
Yeah, I broke my reel and broke a lot of line, you know, get a hold of some big ones that I couldn't get out, and break my line. Oh, I had a ball. I was by myself. I'd try to drag them up a big old high bank, and they'd get off, and I finally just went down the bank and got in the edge of the water, and then I went to keeping them.
Yeah.
Didn't have no net, drag them out and put my fingers in their mouth.
I went fishing one time down on the coast that I got tired of fishing. It was biting so good. That's the only time I ever really got tired. I'm not much of a fisherman, but I got tired that time. Like you said, they was biting so fast and everything, catching 2 at a time. And I thought, boy, I tell you, I enjoyed it for a while.
Yes, sir.
But after a while, my arms like fell off. I just sat down. I didn't even bait the hook.
Well,
I never
fun.
thought I'd get tired of fishing. They'd be biting so fast.
That's right. That's fun.
No, when I was a kid growing up, we used to go to the branch and catch these little old knotty heads, stuff that way. But
Yeah.
we didn't live anywhere close to a river, and I didn't know what it was like to go to a river to fish. But,
Yeah. Yeah, when I was a child growing up over here, I fished up and down this creek over here and a little creek
Yeah.
over there. I'd get a string of fish every time I go.
Yeah.
The knotty heads, like you say, and suckers.
Would you ever catch any eels?
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
You don't see no eels no more, though, do you? They
No.
can't get up them big dams.
That's right. They gotta go back to the ocean to
Yeah.
lay their eggs. Gotta lay them in deep water, so much pressure.
Yeah.
Before they'll hatch out. And when they built that high rock dam down there,
They quit.
they ought to had to put a flume around there so they come on up here. They're good eating. We used to go out here and split us a pine torch
Mhm.
out of these forest pine stumps that was left here. and we go down and light us up a big torch and walk up the creek with a gig and gig a whole sack full of eels and bring them home and cut them up, fry them
I bet that was good eating.
up. It's the best, I'm telling you. The fresh eels out of this fresh water.
Yeah.
Yeah, good boy. Yeah. And you get them plumb on up. You get them up in little branches.
Just work their way on up.
They just worked their way as high as they could go.
Yeah.
Even to a spring.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't reckon they'd stay there so long. They'd go back to the ocean.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't get back. We ain't got a eel in this country now.
Kind of sad, isn't it, to think that times change so fast and lose all of these old-timey good things and no way to get them back again.
That's right. That's right. It's good for the country. Everybody loves fish.
Yeah.
It's good for them. Get them and eat them. And it's easy to get, too.
Yeah.
It take you long to get them.
A friend of mine took me one time a gigging suckers. Did you ever gig for
Yeah,
suckers?
yeah. We
When
get,
they go to running?
yeah.
I got kind of scared. I'm afraid I'd put that gig through my feet. I got so excited there one night.
Me and my daddy's over here gigging one night, and I gigged the eel over here, and the water is deeper over here, and he said, over here, there's one over here. He gigged none over there. The gig is slim prong, didn't have no beards on. We had to reach down and put your hand on them. You know how that was.
Yeah.
And I reached down and brought my eel up, and he reached down and brought his up and hit another big water snake.
He ready to turn that thing loose.
Oh, he turned that thing loose. He had a water snake.
Speaking of snakes, did you have many rattlesnakes around in this country? Or the
Just one once in a while you'd,
copperhead was your biggest problem?
yeah, a lot of copperheads. Plenty of copperheads.
I'm talking about poisonous snakes now.
Yeah.
The copperhead was the mean one, wasn't it?
Yeah. They playing out though.
Yeah.
They're nothing like it used to be. I know I was grubbing up here from Mr. Bradhall one evening at 1 o'clock. By 2 o'clock I had 7 big copperheads piled up out there. You better not go out here and not watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
And go to grubbing around, stumps where
Uh-huh.
sprouts are growed up and got
Yeah.
kind of thick around there. There'd be a copperhead in there if you didn't watch. He'd get you if you didn't watch.
You talking about this grubbing now? I know what you're talking about, but for the sake down the road of people, you was using a mattock, I guess.
Using a
wasn't
mattock, that's what they call grubbing.
you? Yeah, grubbing hoe.
Yeah.
And digging out them stumps and
Yeah,
roots and
that's
cleaning
right.
out around them to
That's
what,
right.
plant corn and
Chopping the sprouts off
Yeah.
the stump. You turn the axe part down.
Yeah.
And chop them off the stump. And
Mhm.
the one you want to dig up, you take the blade, like the hoe
Yeah.
blade, and dig him up. And
I bet there's something to be plowing in a new ground with an old oxen, wasn't it? And that thing hanging roots.
yeah. Yeah. One time, fellas were plowing in the new ground, and it'd hook up, on a root. And he said, "Well, I never seen the like." No, he went to cussing.
Yeah.
The preacher was standing there watching. Plowed around, and every time he'd hook up, he'd cuss. Preacher says, "You ought to cuss like that, plowing those roots." He said, "Well, now I'd love to see you plowing here without cussing." He said, "Well, I can." And he tuck over the plow. And when it'd hook up, he'd say, "Well, I never seen the like." Every time he said, "Well, I never seen the like." He never did cuss.
Yeah.
When he come back, he says, "See, I didn't cuss." He said, "Yeah, you just wells to cuss. You just tell so many lies."
A lot of truth in that too. You know?
Yeah. Never seen the like.
Never seen it.
He's seen it all the time.
I can just barely remember the new grounds, we called it, working in the new grounds, and it was a job. It was a hot job in the summertime, trying to plow corn and stuff like that in them new grounds.
Yeah, we clear a new ground back then when I was a kid. We'd clear a new ground, clear it off. And then when it got dry, we'd burn it off.
Right.
And it was so tough at first,
Uh-huh.
we'd have to dig our holes to put our corn in.
Just dig a hole.
dig a hole. Couldn't lay it off.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't lay it
Too
off.
many
It was
roots
tough.
in there.
Yeah, you just take a dig a hole and plant that corn in there. Your beans.
Yeah.
You always put some beans in there and they have to can and cook.
Both come at the same time.
Yeah. And you'd grub you up a little place out here, clean it off, and burn it off there in August to sow your turnip seed. You talk about growing pretty turnips and sweet turnips.
Yeah.
You burn that off and kind of scratch it up a little bit and sow those turnip seeds in there, and boy, that'd make some of the best turnips you ever seen.
Good old sweet turnips.
Yeah.
Didn't
Sweet
set you on fire when you bit into them.
That's right. Yeah, sweet.
Did you ever have any what they call log rollings when you clear land, just cut the trees and roll them up and burn them?
Yeah, back when I was a kid, they'd have people helped each other back then.
Yeah.
When something was to do, the neighbors would come in and help do it. You know, they'd take roll those logs and things together and they all gather in and dry time set the fire and they'd all watch so it couldn't get out. You know.
Yeah.
Burn it off and go ahead and plant their corn. They'd help do it. They helped each other.
Well, you remember the chestnuts too, don't you? Big chestnut
yeah.
tree.
I was up here squirrel hunting, being Mac Lane. We wore overalls back then, big overalls. And it'd come a rain and all the chestnuts fell out. There's big trees, big virgin chestnut trees, you know.
Yeah.
And the ground was covered in chestnuts. Never seen the like in all my life. We picked our pockets up full of steel chestnuts with galore. We tied a string around our britches leg there on each leg, and we filled our legs full of chestnuts. And we couldn't hardly walk. We had had a half bushel in each britches leg. and those, you know, there's stickers on the end of that chestnut.
Oh, I bet that tore you up, didn't it?
We walked a mile to his house, didn't have anything to put them in, and we come back down to his house and got us some old sacks. He gave me a sack to put mine in, and he put his in up. Had about a bushel of chestnuts apiece.
Well, did you ever make any rails, split any rails out of the chestnuts? Or you remember the old people, I guess?
remember them splitting rails. Didn't have any barbed wire to make fences. They had to split all the rails and cross them up like that.
Uh-huh.
One on top of each other, so high.
Yeah.
And for the pastures, you know.
Well, you probably remember when there wasn't much stock law, I guess, too. Where the cattle run loose, or
I
remember the old people telling about it.
I remember Daddy, in my daddy's lifetime, they nobody didn't have any pastures. They just pastured in their field.
Right.
And they marked those cattle and just let them go.
Uh-huh. They just put up a rail fence around their field, what they're going to tend.
Right.
When I was talking to a fellow who's about 90 years old, and he told me he remembered, barely remembered when there wasn't no stock law, and he said the old people said that when the leaves got as big as a squirrel's ear, a cow could live in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, they start eating those leaves in the spring of the year when they got as big as a squirrel's ear.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear any old-timey sayings like that?
No. Yeah, I've heard them marking the cattle, and the hogs, they marked their hogs, you know, and maybe they wouldn't see their hogs till they got out and they'd hunt for it, find their hogs marked and bring him in and kill him for meat. That's the way they got their meat.
How'd they mark them? Knot your ears or something on a hog?
I reckon they chipped their ears and some of them stamped them, burned them, you know,
Bob their tail or whatever.
Yeah. Everybody had a mark. Each neighbor, you know, in the neighborhood had a mark.
Well, the cows and hogs, they didn't wander off too far. They just kind of hang around in the neighborhood, I guess, on the side of the mountain or out in the woods.
They wouldn't go too far. They wouldn't get plumb gone. They'd go round them up when they wanted them, you know. The milk cows, they had to round them up. Even my daddy used to tell about going way back up that holler up there, driving the milk cow home.
And most of them carried a bell back then too, I guess.
Yeah, had a bell on there, and they had most of them had a little dog that he noted the bell, and he'd go get that cow and bring it home.
Yeah.
And bring it on down and bring it to the milk gap.
Well, talking about them dogs right there, just a question entered my mind right quick. Did you ever do any coon hunting back then, or was there any coons in this country?
Yeah, there's plenty of coons. I know one night I went coon hunting, and they put it on me to climb the tree to shake him out.
Uh-huh.
This great tall chestnut oak tree. I climbed up about 75 feet, and then it forced out, and there's a big old coon out there. I began to shake the tree, and here he come. And my first cousin, he's an older coon hunter. I said, that coon is going to bite me. No, that coon's scared of you. Shake him out. I said, I'm going to come down and let you cut this tree down. No, you get away. Shake him out. I began to shake again. That coon come right down to me for a fight right in my face. And me up there 75 feet high over a pile of rock. And I happened to hit that coon in the belly of my fist and knock him loose and knocked him out. And I got so excited, and as I come down, I had a lantern hanging on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
And as I come down, there's a white pine standing up beside the oak tree about 30 feet high.
Yeah.
And when I come down and felt that white pine tickle my legs, I thinks I'm right at the ground. I turned loose, and out I come. Fell 30 feet on the rock and busted my lantern all to pieces. They had the coon killed. I was in a hurry to get down on to see the fight.
Yeah. Didn't hurt you though, did it?
No, it didn't hurt me. We went on over in the valley over there, and there's an old house over there. And Clifton says, he's an old coon hunter and was with us, my first cousin. He said, let's get in this old house and go to sleep. His father in there.
Yeah.
He said, about 2 o'clock, them coons will be out for good. Boy, I said, they'll be out. We went in there, and there's so many fleas in there, they just covered me up. They was all asleep. I couldn't go to sleep. Them fleas biting me.
Yeah.
And I think I'll just go take a dog and go down the creek.
Yeah.
I took a dog and went down the creek, and boy, a big coon jumped out and right up a rail fence he went, you know. And the dog would run that rail fence and jump over, and he stayed on that rail fence for a half a mile. Me right behind him, you know. And he turned and he come across and he went down there and he climbed a big poplar, about 6'2", looked like. And you could just see the marks. He's such a big coon where he climbed the poplar.
Yeah.
I left and went back up there. I got a coon tree down here on the creek. Get up from here. They all got up and we run back down there. In time we got there, the coon had come down and left. And that dog got after him, running plumb over in Alexander and Ruby Holler towards Taylorville.
Yeah.
And treat him up his den. He went home.
Yeah.
cut that den down, and they put me down there at the head of where they thought the tree would fall. And I saw that tree break in two, and he broke in two right where the coon was. And that coon looked like he was that long. Out he come. I run in there with the dogs, and 3 of them. They couldn't do a thing that could. Finally, they had him stretched across the log, and I took a stick. I'm gonna hit that coon in the head, and the other dog jerked the big dog right in the line of my stick, and I knocked the main fighter out. Knocked that dog out.
You was helping the coon, but you didn't mean to, though.
No, I didn't mean to. I was trying to kill him. So they fought over and over and over, about 300 yards down in the holler, and I lost my cap and I lost the axe, and got down there. A big dog come to, and he got down there and they killed him, and he got to the holler. He couldn't turn over. Get a hold of him, he just threw him a ball of wine until he got to the holler, and then we killed him. The biggest coon I ever seen. That one was.
Well, now, did you get the hides to sell? Or
Yeah, we kept the hides. They didn't bring nothing much.
You was getting as much fun to hunt them as anything else, wasn't
Yeah. We used to skin rabbit hides for 2 cents a piece. You know
you?
how tedious it is to skin a rabbit without
Yeah.
tearing its hide.
Yeah, rabbit's hides easy to
And
tear.
all you got was 2 cents a piece. Them rabbit hides, we'd save every one of them. You get 15 cents for a good possum hide.
Was you ever trap any mink back then?
Yeah, you trap meat.
What'd they bring you? Remember? I bet they brought
Dollar
pretty
and a
good.
half.
Dollar and a half. That's pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's good. And finally, come on up.
Yeah.
Come on up. It's time. I got up there about $35.
What about a coon hide? How much they bring?
back when we was coon hunting right smart, they'd bring $4 to $6. Good coon hide. Yeah, he'd save all that. I know Clifton, he treated a coon over there below my Uncle Henry Adams, and Uncle Henry, he's getting old. He liked to coon hunt. And he'd listen for the dogs to run. He wanted to go nowhere. They waited till next morning to cut the tree. Went over and cut this here tree down, and, and Henry, the dogs ran there and grabbed the coon and was fighting it, and Henry run over and grabbed the coon by the tail, and the dog had him by the head. And Henry said, "Don't pull his tail off, Cliff. Don't pull his tail off. You'll ruin his hide." And Henry was the one doing the pulling. He's so excited, telling his son not to pull his tail off.
You just keep going. Now, we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna check something right here. Just a minute. Everything's looking good, though. Somebody can get pretty excited in a coon fight like that, can't you? I mean,
He got so excited he thought his son was pulling the coon's tail. He was doing the pulling, telling him not to pull it off.
Well, did you ever have many fox back then, or did somebody bring the fox into this country? I've heard people say that the fox was brought in here to hunt.
Yeah,
There wasn't too many fox down in our country back then.
I don't know where you ever heard of Mitch Vinoy.
Yeah.
He was a terrible fox hunter.
Yeah. Mamie Hall lived up on the mountain. She had married to him.
That's right. That's right. She died.
They said he'd rather fox hunt than do anything.
Yeah. He let his dogs sleep right in the house, tell me.
Yeah.
He loved them dogs.
Yeah.
He was a terrible fox hunter. Yeah, that was Mamie Vinoy. She married Grant Hendren.
Yeah.
And she married
last time she married was a Hall.
Married Hall.
And she died here a while back, I heard. I was up there visiting with her last summer.
Was you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she talked to me for about an hour or so.
Yeah.
And I also was up there when they celebrated her 100th birthday.
Yeah.
But they said she died here a while, not too long ago.
I know Mr. Vinoy had fox dogs. He thought so much of. They run that fox, I believe it's big red fox back then they'd run. And the dog fell